Good morning, everybody. How are we doing, Sammy United People's TV? We're back to normal now, and we're here with the transfer window updates. I'm going to speak to you this morning about Marcus Rashford and AC Milan. His brother, Dwayne? I think it's Dwayne. His agent was in Milan yesterday for talks with AC. I'll run through the latest on that and the offer that's coming from AC Milan. We'll also have a conversation this morning about selling Kobbie Mainoo and selling Alejandro Garnacho, because there's been some mad reaction. Josh, you can see down there saying you're removed as a mod. No, mate, this is a consequence of the hackers. They came in and removed all the mods. I didn't quite realise that. And now I'm slowly going back through. So if anybody can this morning, please do me a favour from the mod gang. Write down any names that you noticed that were mods before that aren't now. Let me know in Discord after, and I can fix it all. So there's still some remnants of what went on. But good morning to everybody. I will try and answer as many of your questions and comments as I possibly can, and it's going to be a big old show. Let me see who's here from the mod and the member gang, and I'll say hello to everyone. Good morning to you, Alex. Josh, I just saw you there as well. Carla saw you at the start of the show. Natasha, good morning to you. We've got Subshot, we've got Finn Hayden, Floating Traveller, Sam Bradley, Welsh to the bone. It's a shame for you. I'm joking. Good morning to you, Frank Mizuno, for gifting 5 memberships. And Andre, down there, wow. That's a new name. I've not seen you give 50 before, Andre. Thank you so much. Make sure you please reach out to me via email, because I can get you a piece of merch. You're a legend. All of you. I say this, I'm going to be forever grateful. That what happened with that hacking situation was I knew how important this was to me. But honestly, that when I woke up in the morning and I saw the channel being deleted, I'm telling you, like, almost like fainted. It was like a living nightmare. Thank you all for sticking with me. And it won't be happening again. Now, let's run through all the news and let's talk about United. Well, firstly, let's talk about Arsenal. Because last night, Arsenal got pretty well demolished, I think, would be a fair description, by Newcastle in the League Cup semi-final, first leg. And ahead of us playing in the FA Cup on Sunday, I'm looking forward to that game, man. Really looking forward to that game. It's the FA Cup. There's going to be an away end north of 8,000 United fans. We're going to have a whole side of that stadium. Maybe not a whole side. But Newcastle, Isaac is a baller. A serious striker. I'll tell you what. I wonder, I don't know how involved, I mean, I'm guessing he was quite involved. Newcastle's recruitment over the last couple of years, you can really see how, I really questioned Gordon and whether that was a good signing. I was wrong, it was a good signing. Isaac, I think he was signed from Real Sociedad. Another fantastic signing. Richie, you've got a ticket for Sunday. Enjoy that, mate. It's going to be a cracking trip. An FA Cup game against Arsenal. Well, it will always take you back to 99, won't it? Newcastle right now are very good. 3 games in a row, they've beaten us, and they've beaten Spurs away, and they've beaten Arsenal away. But Arsenal, do you see Arteta last night going, the League Cup ball is different. That's the reason we didn't score. Anyway, probably quite good news ahead of our game. We have a week off. Arsenal are always 2 games away from an implosion as a fan base. And you can see that they've definitely reached a point where they love the progress that's happened under Arteta, but they just can't get that over that next step. And they need a striker. And Kai Havertz is not that guy. But anyway, we're going to be playing them on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Now, I'm going to speak about Marcus Rashford a little bit later in the show. That's the main transfer news. And we'll also speak a little bit more about Kolo Muani. But this is definitely the main talking point this morning, I think. Alex, thank you for gifting 5 memberships down there, dude. I saw that as well. Legend. I'll speak to you a little bit later on as well. Now, the reaction to how this story unfolded yesterday, I'm going to do a lunchtime video on this because I'm going to piece it together in terms of what article was released yesterday, in what order, because there was quite a few. Kobbie Mainoo is in contract negotiation talks with Manchester United. He's fine, by the way. He's got a contract until 2027, and we've got the option to extend by a year. So it's not exactly a massively pressing issue. But there's two things I want to say before I speak about this. And this article from David Ornstein, which caused the ruckus. Number one, any conversation around the sale of any player. Jonathan, you're saying Ornstein's creating these rumours. I don't think that's the case. There was quite a lot that was released yesterday, whether it was from Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail, whether it was Jamie Jackson from The Guardian. David Ornstein was following up onto it. First thing to say, I feel like I have to, I don't know why I feel like I have to keep reiterating this, but football fans, you can't generalize football fans. But the normal practice for a lot of football fans is to remember what happened yesterday, remember what happened last week, and just kind of forget about the stuff before. The stuff that is freshest in the mind is what you think about. Oh, like Paul Scholes on the overlap. Ineos have not done anything positive at Manchester United. I said, sit back, and there is a lot that they have got wrong in the last 6 months. I think you can compare the first 6 months to the second 6 months, and they're kind of total opposites, really. But to try and suggest that Ineos have done nothing positive since they came in is a massive overreaction. But absolutely everything that Ineos have done since they've come in, is a consequence of this fucking family pillaging our football club. And I will say this again and again and again. Manchester United's revenues are north of 600 million. We as a football club should never, ever have to worry about money. Shouldn't be an issue. As a club the size of Manchester United, with the revenues the size that we have, money should never be an issue, but it is because of these pricks. First thing. And secondly, when it comes to these new PSR rules, there's one thing I particularly despise about them. The fact that they've created what is a loophole by selling academy players. And that loophole is that when you sell an academy player, it counts basically double. It's 100% profit. There's no amortization about it, nothing of that. If you sell an academy player, it effectively is twice as valuable to your bottom line as selling a non-academy player. Therefore, I mean, Chelsea have done it in the last few years. City have been doing it for a good few years now. And all football clubs will follow. The academy should always be where you look to bring through your best youngsters. I mean, the academy is Manchester United. It is the core of our football club. It is one of the underlying values that makes Manchester United Manchester United. But because these fuckers have ruined our finances so much and taken us so close to that bottom line, had Ineos not been making the cuts that they have done, we would have already breached PSR. That would have already happened. We would already have a points deduction. We don't know how big that points deduction would be, but there would be a points deduction. There is a possibility that we might have a transfer ban as well. We don't know how bad the breaches would have been, right? But all of this is leading to this conversation. Now, the first thing that happened yesterday was this, right? Chris Wheeler, in the afternoon. That Chelsea are leading the chase for Kobbie Mainoo if he leaves Man United. And I just looked at that and I just laughed. I was like, all right, good. Yeah, great. Rex, you're saying, I saw FNG's video on Ineos. Who's FNG? FNG. No idea. Yeah, saying it was very negative, made some good points, but the cost cutting ignored years of overspend that the club has been used to. honestly, it's really frustrating that it feels like as I said, that the recent memories that they're remembering what Ineos have done in the last 2-3 weeks and not remembering the years of everything that's happened before it. Chelsea aren't leading the chase for Kobbie Mainoo. But then this followed. And this is where the conversation exists around. David Ornstein, saying that Manchester United will reluctantly consider the sale of homegrown talents like Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho to help comply with financial rules. United are not actively looking to trade the pair, but neither are untouchable if suitable offers arrive. Now, I'll ask you in the comment, before I dive through the article, what's your genuine opinion on that kind of headline and a little bit of a summary? Are you sitting there thinking, oh my God, United are selling Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho? Because the scaremongering, I swear to God, there is a section of United fans who just, it feels like they're going to have no idea what to do when United are actually successful again. Like, their oxygen is controversy. Their oxygen is finding something to hold on to and scream and shout about. And that's the currency that they exist in. Now, you might not like what I'm about to say here, but this is the truth. You could rewrite that article, and you could write this article in 1998. Now, Man United wouldn't have had to do this because financially we hadn't been screwed. But as is the case with, and I'm talking about 99.9% of footballers, every footballer has a price. And if Manchester United back in 1998 got a 120 million offer for Paul Scholes or Ryan Giggs, you just think the club would just outright ignore it? You'd like to think so, because Manchester United at that point in time were the best club in the world. There was nowhere better for these players to go. But the reality is they probably wouldn't have done that. Robert's saying every player has a price these days. Every player has always had a price. Barcelona would sell Pedri and Gavi if the right offer came in. That's football. That is football. Now, you can scream about it from the rooftops if you want, but that is just a simple rule of football. Every player at every club is for sale at any point if somebody is willing enough to come in with a ludicrous offer. That's just the case. Someone comes in and offers 200 million for Cole Palmer right now. You think Chelsea are going to turn it down? Or are they going to sell their best player? Apply it to any player you want. Someone comes in and offers 150 million for Saka. Oh, no. Arsenal will probably sell Saka. It will piss off their fan base. Sure. But they will. And it's just... it just... What this feels like to me is Mainoo is going through a contract negotiation with the club. And by the way, reports suggesting yesterday that Kobbie Mainoo was asking for 200 grand a week. First of all, we don't know that. This is speculation. Second of all, there's no chance that Kobbie Mainoo should be getting 200 grand a week. And I've seen people yesterday going... Oh, one second, wrong one. Jeez, too many photos open. Anyway, I've seen people yesterday saying, well, of course Kobbie Mainoo is going to want 200 grand a week when you look at the fact that Casemiro's on 350 grand. And I'm like, are you really that... Sorry, but are you that thick? Ineos are trying to correct the wage structure problems at this football club. So if you're Kobbie Mainoo's agent and you're going to point out the problems that already exist, they're not... Yeah, I know you're right, by the way. There's no way that Casemiro should be on 3. That's why we're trying to sell him. There's no way that's why we're trying to sell Rashford. Man United are trying to correct the wage structure problems. So you're trying to use our current wage structure as justification as to why Mainoo should deserve... Imagine thinking that Mainoo would go from, reports suggest he's on like 20 grand a week right now, up to 200. You're off your rocker. I wish that Manchester United could get a wage structure in that is a low base. So like a low base guarantee. But big wages if you're successful. You want 200, right, okay, we'll give you 100 grand a week guaranteed. You want 200, we'll offer you 225 grand a week if you win the Premier League. How about that? We'll offer you more than you're asking for if you're successful. And that would apply to Kobbie, to every single player throughout our football club. This, to me, really feels like hot air. And United is the perfect fan base for it. And they just gobble it up. So you really think that United are going to be selling Mainoo and Garnacho? No, but if somebody comes in and offers 200 mil, you're damn right we'll think about it. Just like any football club in world football would think about selling any player if somebody comes in with an offer that is just literally too good to refuse. I'm going to go down and read some of your comments here. It's just... this sort of stuff wouldn't... I don't know, it just wouldn't piss you off as much if you just managed to go, that's right, that's just a bit of nonsense, isn't it? Andrea saying to Sam, you're funny when talking about money. It's just like, man, I know how... This is the thing. It just feels like so many United fans, when they see a headline like this, and they just gobble it up and take it and just like get personally offended by it, and they just ignore the fact that our football club made losses in excess of 100 million last year. That our football club has made losses in 5 consecutive years. That our football club is over £1 billion in debt. And 200 million of that, by the way, we owe to other clubs for signings we've already made. And that's repayable this year. Like, the finances of this club are just nuts. It's mind-boggling how bad it is. Really, it's sickening. I don't know how. It's like, what would you rather have? What would piss United fans off more? Genuine question, this one. I actually have no idea about this. All hypothetical situations. But what would piss United fans off more? Would it be selling an academy player like Garnacho on the one hand? Or on the other hand, getting a points deduction and a transfer ban? Now, of course, these are the two extremes. I'm going very extreme in that sort of comparison there, that example. All completely hypothetical, of course. But it just feels like this is being blown way out of proportion. It feels like this is nothing more really than a contract negotiation between Kobbie Mainoo and Manchester United. And it's kind of exploded into the idea that Manchester United... Because Manchester United have clearly done some briefing here yesterday. And so has Kobbie's representatives. Hence why you're seeing stuff from like The Guardian and The Athletic and the Daily Mail. It's all coming from different angles and different sources. I'm going to go down and read some of your comments. Anthony saying, as a healthy club, we can get back to the top way faster. We would have more room to develop. Can I just say one thing? At no point here am I suggesting that Manchester United sell Mainoo or Garnacho. I do not want us to even consider selling Mainoo. I don't think I got that same energy towards Garnacho. I consider Mainoo truly untouchable. I look at Mainoo and I see a player, and I personally don't think it matters what style of football we play. In 3, 4, 5 years' time, I know that Kobbie Mainoo would be perfect in it. It doesn't really matter how our football team changes and develops over the next 5 years. Mainoo will always be a world-class player in that environment. Now, Garnacho, I had concerns about Garnacho coming into Amorim, and I've still got those concerns. I don't know whether he's going to fit inside this system perfectly. I'm not saying that I would sell him tomorrow because it's not the case. But I wouldn't have the same sort of energy towards Garnacho as I would towards Mainoo. Just a personal opinion there. So I'm not trying to suggest that either should be sold, and don't try and put words in my mouth. Halftime Orange is saying, if you offer me 100k for my 20k car, I'll probably sell it to you. You got a 20k car? Gee! I've got an Audi A3, which... anybody want to buy an Audi A3? It's perfect. It's not. Doesn't mean I'm actively looking to sell it. This whole thing is a non-story, says Halftime. It's annoying, man. You don't have to be this crazy, United fans. You really don't. Andre saying, Sam, what's your price for Garnacho and Mainoo? I don't have a price on Mainoo. I'm not putting a price on Mainoo. Mainoo, for me, is untouchable. Which I think is partly why this reaction has been so visceral from United fans. Because I think a lot of you feel that like that as well. Like, it doesn't matter what price you come in for Mainoo. I'm not going to be selling him. I don't want Manchester United to sell him. And I agree. I also think that's pretty much United's position. But also, if it's an outrageous offer, we're talking like north of 150 mil, then I think United would consider it, just like they would consider every single player sale ever. Right, let me read some more of your comments out. Garnacho's another Januzaj. Then that's a bit extreme. Man, Januzaj. If any of you were old enough to remember that year under Moyes, he was such a shining light, man. Also had a great chant. About a boy who can do. That was a cracker. Well, the best was the Zlatan chant. I look at this situation and think of Liverpool and Coutinho and Barca. With the Coutinho money, Liverpool bought Salah, Van Dijk and Alisson. I mean, hold up here. I think that's a different environment. Coutinho was the best player at Liverpool. The offer was outrageous, but Coutinho wasn't an academy product like Kobbie Mainoo. We have waited some time at this football club to have a midfielder of Mainoo's quality come through our academy. We've waited a long time. Oh, man, Nuruddin, jeez. Nuruddin, can you just go and buy Mainoo and just make sure he stays at the club? You just gifted 50 memberships. You legend. I'm going to go and read through the article now. I feel like I've been... Yeah, I'll be honest, this has pissed me off. This has really, really annoyed me to see the sort of level... Ineos are willing to sell Mainoo. And it's like, I'm sorry, but like United stand like just scaremongering fans into it. Headline, United will sell Mainoo. It's like, no, they fucking won't. Are they willing to sell Mainoo if somebody comes in with a stupid offer? Yes. Just has been the case with any football player that's ever existed at this football club. And now it's going to be painted like, oh, it's just Ineos doing this and Ineos are worse than the Glazing. And it's just going to divide more. And it just pisses me off. I'm angry about it because we don't need this. We're already bad enough as a football club. We don't need stuff like this on top. And you're saying remove mercenary wages and you remove mercenary players. Man, fixing the wage structure of our club. I mean, how many bloody problems have we got? A lot, right? We got a lot. But fixing the wage structure and the next January and the summer are probably going to be where you see a major shift in our wage structure. Now, I'm going to pull up Koppology here. I want to quickly say Koppology is a website, is not something that you can use as a guarantee for how much Manchester United players are earning, all right? A lot of it is estimated, and that's the first thing I want to say. But it gives you kind of a rough estimation of where United's top earners are. And you look at this, right? You go down here to see where United's top earner. Casemiro will not be here come the end of the summer. Bruno Fernandes should be, will be, and deserves to be Manchester United's top earner. Marcus Rashford won't be here come the end of the summer. So that's 2 out of the 3, according to Kobbie, of our top earners who are going to be gone. Mason Mount, I think there's a real big chance that he goes as well. He should not be on 250 grand. How in the world he's on 250 grand a week is a ridiculous amount of money. That's not Ineos's fault. They came into that. That already existed. And so did Anthony. Ridiculous amounts of money. Look at that. 4 out of the 5 top earners, according to Kobbie, are Anthony, Mount, Rashford and Casemiro. That is laughably bad. That doesn't mean that you can come in and say, well, look at all these top earners. Because if I'm Omar Brown, I'm going, hold on. I know you're right, but we're fixing all these problems. You can't point to a problem and say that you want some of that pie. That's not what's happening at Manchester United. We're setting new standards. You go down here and you see Ugarte's down there on 120 grand a week, apparently. Mazraoui on 135. Xerxes on 105. Yoro on 115. 4 out of the 5 signings this summer are a different sort of wage bracket. New rules are coming into place. This is a new United. You can't point towards the old problems and say, I want some of that. Because that's being corrected. Which kind of sounds a little bit, by the way, of what maybe Kobbie Mainoo's agent is doing and representatives doing, saying, well, look at what all the top earners are on. Whereas in reality, that's not really going to get you what you want. This really has annoyed me. T-Luck is saying, which players would you move out? Glad to hear you got your account back. It must have been a stressful experience. I say it, I would never wish that on anybody. Not even my worst enemy. Alex saying I'd sell my nan if someone... You made me laugh too much there. I'd sell my nan if someone offered me enough. No, you wouldn't. Maybe you would. Which player would I move out? I've already kind of made that. Casemiro's got to go. Eriksen, Lindelof. So many of the top earners. Like probably... Let's have a look here. Casemiro, 1. Rashford, 2. Mount, 3. Anthony, 4. That's 4 out of United's... So 80% of United's top earners, according to Kobbie, I would move on. Right. Sorry. I feel like I've been shouting a little bit here. But this really does frustrate me. Being humble. Now we should emulate Liverpool's wage structure. Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent aside, no one earns over 150 grand a week. I mean, I wouldn't exactly look at Liverpool as how to do things properly because you've got Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent all going into a summer where their contracts are expiring and could all leave as free agents. So I wouldn't exactly say that they've nailed it. This is what the article says, all right? Manchester United would reluctantly consider selling homegrown players such as Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho as part of their efforts to comply with football's financial rules. The club are not actively looking to sanction the exit of either talent. So, repeating that, not looking to sanction the exit of either talent. But the reality of their situation means a possibility cannot be discounted if a suitable offer arrives. And that's it. On my life, this is such a non-story. Football club will sell football player if football club receives an offer that's ridiculous for said football player. Is a headline that you could attach to just every year of every club and every player that's ever existed. See, Neil, you're down there saying, what is a suitable offer? I'm not going to... There's no way that that's going to come out of my mouth. I consider Kobbie Mainoo indispensable to the future of this football team. Neville saying, calm down, Sam. Chill, mate. Dude, this really affects my community that I work with every single day. Directly it affects how they think and directly affects how they talk about Manchester United. So hence why I'm sort of so vocal now in arguing the opposite. I mean, it's not exactly a good way to calm down a fan base to try and get angry back at them, if you know what I mean. But it just frustrates me. This is a non-story for me. This is Kobbie Mainoo in contract negotiations with the club. Probably wasn't happy with the first offer. Ladies and gents, that's how negotiations work. Rarely do you ever in life accept the first offer on anything. You're trying to buy a house. Does your first offer ever get accepted? Maybe if it's over what the asking price is, but then, of course, that's a little bit different. It's just contract negotiations talk that's escalated into a conversation that Manchester United might be willing to sell. Maybe that's United pushing some power back on towards Mainoo, and it just feels it's over-exaggerated to the point where we're not going to be selling Mainoo. We're probably not going to be selling Garnacho either. But you just don't need to have the amount of negative energy towards it that you have. Matt saying these owners are nuts, you never know. That's the one part that I would have some concern with. I don't know what depth Ineos are willing to go to save costs. I've seen some stuff yesterday saying like Ineos are only interested in profit and that's all they care about. Oh, big old is like Gary Lineker. Well, you wouldn't fucking buy Manchester United then, would you? If you really cared about profit, you come nowhere near a football club that's lost money in 4 out of the last 5 years. It's like the worst business you could buy. You just stick to what you're doing with petrochemicals. You're making money hand over fist there. It's just the suggestion that, oh yeah, that's all Ineos want to come in, sell all the players, make a profit and run away with it. It's like, again, it's just lazy, top-level tabloid conversation. However, I don't know what depths Ineos are willing to go to improve that bottom line, to ultimately make our football club more sustainable, to ultimately help us back towards Project 150, winning the league by 2028. Letitia Cole, you're saying, why did United buy Mason Mount? Hope someone can tell me. No, I can tell you why United bought Mason Mount. Erik ten Hag was determined to switch Manchester United to a system where we have 1 number 6 and 2 aggressive number 8s. And therefore, Mason Mount was a perfect partner for Bruno Fernandes. However, we got it spectacularly wrong. Casemiro couldn't do that number 6 role on his own. And we got obliterated by it. And therefore, the 2 number 8 system didn't work, despite the fact that we played it all season. And now we've got a player on 250 grand a week who's not anywhere near a starter for Manchester United. And it didn't work. And that's what happens when you allow a manager to drive your identity. Because from one season to another, Erik ten Hag switched how he wanted to play football. Whereas that won't happen now. The game model that is existing under Amorim, yeah, it's a big switch to a 3 at the back. But when Amorim leaves, you think we're going to totally throw away? United will play a 3 at the back system now as long as Ineos are here. Or at least a system very similar. Mainoo's going nowhere, man. Right? Mainoo's not going anywhere. Lee, thank you for gifting 5 memberships, dude. Let's have a little calm down. Let's have a little bit of water. Mount works in this system. He's just injured. I feel sorry for the dude, man. In the same way that I feel sorry for Luke Shaw. I don't think that either of them are purposefully trying to get injured. And I know Mason Mount has been putting the graft in. I don't know about Luke Shaw as much, but I know Mason Mount went into the pre-season having already undergone his own pre-season with a fitness trainer. He did everything he possibly could to be fair and ready and fit. And he's got injured twice. Janko saying, Sam, what's the price for your channel? Because it seems some people are interested. $1 billion. There you go. If anybody gives me $1 billion, you can have United People's TV. Sue me. No one is going to give me $1 billion. If you did, I consider it. I don't know. Would I? Probably would. But look, you know what I think is going to happen here? I think we're just going to reach a point at some point soon where Kobbie Mainoo... And look, why is this... Can somebody tell me this? Why is Kobbie Mainoo's contract even a conversation or a talking point? Or selling him? Mainoo's contract doesn't run out until 2027, and we've got a year extension on it. Why is this even a talking point? Garnacho just signed a new 5-year deal last year. He's got a contract until 2028. It's just a bit weird. I don't know. Because he's a United player? I don't know. Just doesn't really seem like a talking point. Jibak, you're saying, I'm starting to think that the idea of PSR was needed, but the way it's implemented is ridiculous. Clubs are already colluding to get around these rules. That's... Oh, wrong thing there. I go back to what I said at the beginning. My core frustration towards the fact that the Glazers have caused all of this, but also the fact that the Premier League has actively encouraged that Premier League clubs use their academies as a way to get around financial rules. Lads, if you just sell your academy players for pure profit, you'll be able to buy more big name players. That's what you want to do, right? So we'll make sure that this loophole exists. The Premier League could tighten this completely. Whoop. But they can't, because they're kind of making rules up on the spot. And now, whereas previously academies were always just a way to... Well, bringing through an academy player was always the greatest achievement. I always consider that anyway. For any football club, at any level. In terms of sustainability, it's the king. But now, an academy is more seen by a lot of clubs as a way to fund other transfers, mainly. That's not how an academy should be seen. And that's a real shame about... That's another modern shift of football. Another thing I don't like about it. Old man moaning. Anyway. Thumbs up. Don't know why I did thumbs up there. But let's move on. Because let's speak about AC Milan and let's speak about Marcus Rashford. That was a big old... Yeah, I think it's clearly... I've not exactly been sat on the fence there. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed about that whole Mainoo story because I think so much of it is hot air. But when you've got people underneath it fanning the flames, just the hot air gets more and more. Gets louder and louder. Now, Marcus Rashford. Yesterday afternoon, we had confirmation that Borussia Dortmund were considering a loan move for Rashford. And I was like, at the time when that came out, I said, that's the most... it's the most Borussia Dortmund thing in the world. Ooh. That player over there, like, we could get him on loan, make him think that we want him in the long term, and then in the summer we'll just go away because we can't afford him. Yeah, go on in. We did it with Sancho. Yeah, let's do it again with Rashford. Man, it's the biggest cheapskate club in the world. Anyway, Dortmund were linked with Rashford, and there's no way that they're going to pay the wages that he requires. There's no way that they're going to subsidise as much as would need to be subsidised. So it's a bit of a non-starter. And then we go on to the bigger bit of news. And that's AC Milan. So Marcus Rashford's brother flew into Milan yesterday to hold talks. This is what the report says. Marcus Rashford's representatives have held exploratory talks with AC Milan about a move. Dwayne Maynard flew to Milan on Tuesday to hold discussions with recruitment staff at the Serie A side. Talks remain at a preliminary stage, and that's it. That's the story so far. And what do you think about this as a potential move for both Rashford and for Manchester United? Do you think it's a good thing? Would you prefer the Dortmund situation? What would you say is best case scenario? Best case scenario still remains that Manchester United find a loan for Rashford that includes an obligation that's north of £40 million. That's best case scenario, which I don't think we'll find. But we might get loan with an option. Premium saying, how did Villa get away with the Kellyman deal? What was that one again? It's like, if you look at the Cole Palmer situation, City sold Cole Palmer so they could fund signing other players, and they sold one of the best players in the Premier League now simply because they wanted the bottom line to be improved by selling an academy player that they should never have sold in the first place. City have had some big old mistakes with some players they've sold, haven't they? Shame. And you're saying, I think it'll be a low offer. Italy doesn't have a huge amount of money. They don't. I remember what I said previously as well. There used to be tax breaks, I think, for Italian clubs to sign non-domestic players, which I think have now stopped. So there's less incentivization for Serie A clubs, AC Milan, to sign players like Rashford. However, they're having talks. Jordan, I just bought a new away long sleeve of Mainoo on the back. I swear to God, if they sell him, I'm not publicly supporting anymore. I do love a long sleeve. An away long sleeve. That's a strong choice of shirt. You won't have to be selling that anytime soon. Would Napoli take Rashford on loan to ensure they win Serie A? Maybe. Ravi saying, I didn't realise our academy graduate streak ended when we didn't start any academy player. I don't think that's the case. It's been going back since like 1930s. The record is an academy player in every matchday squad, not a starting one. Any swap deals worth it with Milan? Not really. Don't think so anyway. But this is what Gianluca di Marzio is saying about AC Milan and Rashford. Rashford remains the big target. Loan with an option to buy as being proposed. And you go down there. In the last few hours, the Rossoneri club has put forward a concrete proposal for Rashford, trying to bring him with Milan with a formula that includes an initial loan with the offer to buy him at the end of it. So, according to Gianluca di Marzio, AC Milan have come in with a loan offer with an option to buy at the end of it. And that will be the first offer on the table. So if we go to the... Don't know why I did blind date there. Anyway. We've got Rashford has moved on to level 2 now. Agent in AC Milan, Di Marzio, reports that an offer has been made. So the talks have started with Rashford. We look at all the other players that are linked with exits right now. Harry Mas has been linked with Leicester. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Casemiro has been linked with a move to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. And that one I can really see developing. But right as it stands, he's only level 1. Collier, don't think he's going to go anywhere. He's been linked again, I think, by Manchester Evening News to loan moves in the Championship. Xerxes, I don't think he's going anywhere, but he's getting linked with Juve. And Anthony is getting linked with multiple clubs, actually. Nothing on Eriksen just yet, but Rashford is the one that is moving. I think AC would be a good move for him. You look how competitive Serie A is right now. Like, if we pull up the table, I think Napoli are top. Serie A. So this is the Serie A table right now. Let's go down so you can actually see where Milan are, because they are mid-table. How far off they? How far are they? They are 8 points off the top 4, with 2 games in hand on Lazio. Oh, okay, well, that's not terrible then. Sorry. Anyway, Napoli are top. Atalanta just below them. Inter are not too far off. It's a competitive league now. Over the last couple of years, the quality of the football in Serie A has been increasing and increasing. Gasperini's Atalanta are a really exciting team. Conte has done just a peak Conte job with Napoli. Scott McTominay winning the Serie A at Napoli. That would be... I'd love to do a little mini doc on that. I'd love to be able to go to Naples and support McTominay. That'd be a cool little thing to do, man. I'd love that. Anyway, it would be a pretty good move for Rashford. Competitive. Serie A is in a good place. He'll be able to sort of restart his career. You get to play in the San Siro. Nice. Also, it would suit United. So let's see what goes on here. I think as far as Rashford is concerned, I don't think you're going to be able to get a better... I don't think you're going to get a better place for him to go than AC Milan, if I'm being totally honest. I think it'll be a better place than Dortmund. Juve have been linked, but it's only tentative at this moment in time. So nothing's actually happened there. Yeah, and I think that's a very good and a very fair point. The actual moving to Milan is something that would appeal to Rashford. The culture, the food, the fashion, the lifestyle. Yeah, a lot of that would work. Now, with Rashford leaving, we move to the conversation. Right now, there's only one player that we are really heavily linked with, past the point of just being interested. We go to the linked page. There's 10 names on this list, and there could be more. You've got all the left backs there: Alvaro Fernandez, Nuno Mendes, Patrick Dorgu, Kirkes, Aït-Nouri, Teo Hernandez. Attackers, you've got Muani, you've got Osimhen, Vlahovic and Ferguson, but it's Kolo Muani right now who's been linked the most. And you got James Ducker following up on what David Ornstein said that we covered yesterday on the fact that United are exploring a loan move for Muani. Now, something that's interesting down here is this. There is uncertainty over the futures of Rashford and Xerxes, but it is thought any move to bring in a new attacker is not necessarily contingent on one of those players leaving this month, which would be a good thing, right? I mean, we are really on... We are like tightrope walking on the edge of financial breaches. Yeah, Chris Nipan, I think I should put him on there. Anybody, if there's players on this, and there will be players that I've missed, by the way. I've been trying to do some research, but I haven't got them all yet. Have I actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I've got the number right. If there's any players that you think I've missed from here, can you go into the transfer channel on Discord, fire them in there. I'll get them in. And if you can, please drop a like on the video. United need an attacker. If I was to choose it in priority order, I think I'd just go for a left wing back first. But I do think they're quite close. Home Cell saying Muani is so average. And I say this respectfully. Beggars can't be choosers. Manchester United right now are beggars. You might want Osimhen. I would prefer Osimhen. I very much doubt that we're going to be able to spend that much on Osimhen. I don't even know what Osimhen would cost. What is he on loan at Galatasaray right now from Napoli? I don't even know. Yep, we've obviously signed Diego Leon from Paraguay. Can't remember what club it was called now. Anyway, but he's not coming in until the summer. Remember that. I think he's coming into Manchester United in January to complete his medical and probably be formally announced before he gets sent back on loan for the rest of the season. But Kolo Muani, yeah, he's had an average time at PSG. Bang average. We're a bang average football club with no money. You would... So many people turn their nose up at Manuel Ugarte. He's not done it at PSG. They're going out and they're signing João Neves. Ugarte is what? We're signing the offcuts from PSG. Ugarte is a phenomenal player. Just because somebody doesn't work in one environment does not make them an awful player. It's very easy to make those assumptions. And it's very easy for me to say now, Captain Hindsight, Sam. No. I knew the qualities of Ugarte. I understood why United went and signed him. Would I have preferred that United had the money to sign João Neves? Probably. I probably would have, if I'm being honest. But we didn't. And Ugarte's been a phenomenal signing. Now, with Muani, I'm fine with United signing Muani if it's on loan with no obligation. If it's a loan with an obligation, then it's a problem. Because it may not work out with Muani. And for him to... We know full well that players take time to settle in at Manchester United. And anybody who comes in January, well, you'll jump in straight into the meat of the season. We've already been frustrated about what our club hasn't been able to do for the last 6 months. You've got to come in straight away and score goals. And he's hardly been scoring. So it's tougher to come in January than it is at the start of the season. You're given a little bit more patience. But as long as there's no obligation, I'm fine with a deal for Muani or Dani Olmo or Vlahovic or anybody really. I mean, Christ, we've signed Weghorst on loan. We've signed Igalo on loan. This is just what United do in January windows. And it may well be Muani. I haven't seen any other major links with attackers past him. Now, something else that's getting linked in terms of players leaving is Antony. I think I said this yesterday. I don't think United will be actively trying to really push Antony out of the door in January. If a suitable offer comes in, I think United might consider it. And I do think United could replace him from within. I have to keep pointing him out. But Mantato. And you're down there saying we considered Danny Welbeck not good enough. I had Danny Welbeck down as somebody who would be a fantastic free transfer signing in the summer. And he's gone on to have probably one of his strongest seasons. Is he injured right now? I think he's injured right now. But yeah, I would have loved to have taken Welbeck back in the summer on a free transfer. Anyway, Antony's been linked with Olympiacos, Real Betis. Can't remember where else. But it's definitely one to watch. It's definitely one to watch. The centre forward at Porto should be on the summer list. Is that Samuel? Is that Omaridian? Omaridian? The one who scored against us. That was. Let's not talk about that Porto game. Jeez. The chaos of Ten Hag towards the end. Well, actually, not towards the end, just the whole time. Davey D, you gifted him 5 memberships down there. Bish Borrow, you've got 1. Carl Chamberlain, Terence, Rajesh, and Sam. Top level name. There aren't a lot of strikers available. I mean, there are. If you've got... Anybody got a spare 100 mil? Go and sign Isaac. Anybody got a spare... I don't even know how much. 50 mil? 60 mil? Go and get Gyökeres. January is about a short-term stopgap. And that's... Muani, fine with that. As long as it's... Well, we need somebody in. We need somebody in. Now, something else has happened, a little bit random. But United have recalled Eli Harrison from his loan spell at Chester. Eli Harrison was our under-18s goalkeeper last season when we won the treble. Very, very, very good goalkeeper. Somebody who's extremely comfortable, a proper modern goalkeeper. You know, as far as I'm concerned, modern goalkeepers are a bit like playmakers. Eli Harrison really ticks that box. He was on loan at Chester for the first half of the season, and he nailed it. I think he only conceded like 16 goals. He kept like 7 clean sheets. He was having a great loan spell. So I'm really confused as to why United have decided to recall him from his loan and put him back into the academy. A bit of a weird one, if I'm being honest. I thought if you're going to recall him from his loan at Chester, that's because you want him to go on a loan move to a championship club. Or probably not a championship club, but like a League 2 or League 1. Give him a better loan spell. But instead he's staying at the club. No, Damien, there's confirmation came out yesterday he's going to be staying at United, which I think is a bit of a weird one. Does that mean that Bayindy is going to be moved on? It's a possibility. I don't know anybody who's going to buy him on a permanent deal in January, but I don't quite know. We'll find out. It was a bit of a strange one, I thought, because he was definitely developing on loan. It may well be a case that we sell Bayindir and he gets promoted towards the first team. It's not impossible, but it's definitely one to watch because I think it's a bit curious otherwise. Right, last minute or two of the show, can you fire in any questions you want to ask me that you want me to speak about? And can I say, yeah, thank you all for tuning in and joining in. I realise that I got a bit shouty there, but it's just, if United fans really genuinely feel like they don't like the media because of how they portray United and do this, it's like, well, don't fuel the fire then. Don't fan the flames then. Because United aren't going to be selling Kobbie Mainoo unless someone comes in with an outrageous offer. Then they might consider it. Just like United would have considered selling Beckham or Keane or Andy Cole or Wayne Rooney or Cristiano Ronaldo or any other player that we've ever had ever, if an outrageous offer comes in. That's football. Just like Barcelona would sell Pedri and Gavi if he came in and offered them a stupid amount of money. That's just the way the game is. Ross, you're saying, Sam, just like you earmarked Dorgu about, I spoke about Dorgu in the summer, didn't we? And he's definitely improved. You could easily see United selling Casemiro and then signing Dorgu with that money, because he's someone who can play not only left wing back but right wing back, but left centre back and right centre back. Could play a wide centre back and a wing back. He's like 6'2". He's 20. He is that out of possession athlete that we need in the team. He's also very good at what he does. So he's not just an athlete. Quite a few of you asking how the leg is. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to be starting with a new PT in about 10 days. I still can't run. I'm about just under 11 months from surgery now. And honestly, I'm putting in like an 18-month rehab on it. If after 18 months I'm not back to running, I'm going to go and headbutt the surgeon. I won't headbutt the surgeon. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's overcorrected my ankle, and I still can't see him until February anyway. Yeah, Brookie, thank you very much, dude. I'm delighted that the channel is okay. I'm taking more extra measures this week. I'm going to make it the most secure channel that's ever existed. It was a wake-up call. Truth be told, there was a weak point that was exploited. It wasn't my account, but it was one of the team members. And that's something that I've closed off. It can't happen again. I'm going to make sure that nothing else happens again in the future, because that was terrifying, and I don't want that. Now, thank you all for tuning in. My lunchtime video will be an extension of this conversation. There's a lot more to the story that happened yesterday that I'll piece together for you, and then, well, I think you know my opinion on it. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I'll be here tomorrow. If there's any big breaking transfer news, come to United People TV, so make sure you do subscribe, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.